We all know about Brandon Lee and his tragic death during the filming of The Crow in 1993. But when I was a kid, there was an added element to this. A rumor that in the film, you can actually watch this go down. You can see him die in the movie. The footage of Brandon Lee's death is not in The Crow. Welcome to episode 2 of Nostalgia Sleuth. The Crow is a legendary movie based on the comic released May 13th, 1994 by Miramax Films. The movie is directed by Alex Pius.
In any way you want to explain it, that you, in fact, are not the Crow, but the character of the Crow is different from who you are, even though you are in the movie.
No, in fact, I am undead.
Yeah.
And I frequently go on killing rampages. And watch, I'll put this cigarette out on my chin and it won't even hurt me.
James O'Barr originally wrote the comic to deal with the tragic death of his fiancée, who died in a drunk driving accident. The original comic ran from 1989 to 1990. Allegedly, River Phoenix was considered for the role of Eric Draven, but I couldn't find any evidence to substantiate that. On March 31st, 1993, at EUE Screen Gem Studios in Wilmington, North Carolina, actor Brandon Lee was shot tragically after Michael Massey's character Funboy shot Eric Draven.
When the accident occurred, it was unbearable. And I think the first reaction was, we can't go on.
Now, in most movies, when they're using guns, they use dummy rounds with real bullets, no primers, no powders. The weapon in question was a .44 Magnum Model 629 from Smith & Wesson. The production of The Crow, allegedly to save money, made their own from pulling bullets from live rounds, dumping the powder but leaving the primer and reinserting the bullets. At some point in filming, they made the switch to dummy rounds. Apparently, the firearms specialist was sent home early. This left a prop assistant in charge who had no idea how to do this and didn't know they were supposed to check the barrels. The bullet from one of their custom rounds was lodged in the barrel. It was fired in the scene, mortally wounding Brandon Lee.
Although filming was nearly complete, star Brandon Lee had yet to shoot a few key scenes at the time of his tragic on-set death.
Now, they did reshoots to complete this. They didn't use the footage of him being shot.
The haunting task of digitally manufacturing Lee's remaining scenes was given to DreamQuest Images, an Oscar-winning effects shop.
They used his stunt double, Chad Stahelski, digitally putting Lee's face over his.
Other shots involved filming a scene with a body double for Lee, and later mapping the actor's face onto the double's body.
The production company had shot new footage of a body double that had the basic same characteristics as Brandon's body. Obviously the face was different. Then digitally we removed only his face from certain scenes, certain frames, and placed that over the body double. Like so.
They did a lot of reshoots and had to rework some things.
Another difficult shot required the DreamQuest team to extract an image of Lee walking down an alley and have him walk through a doorway instead.
Michael Berryman, who you may know from The Hills Have Eyes and other movies, he's in a lot of stuff, let's be honest, was supposed to be in the movie. He had already done costume outfits. Here's a look at that. Was ultimately cut from the film because after Brandon Lee died, they couldn't shoot those scenes without him. You know, apparently there was an issue with electricity early in the making of the movie too, and someone almost died from that. If you talk about cursed movies, this is definitely one of those ones that's high up on the list, and to this day there's still people that will swear that the footage of him actually dying is in the movie. When I was a kid, that's what drew me to the movie originally, because, you know, somebody tells you that and you're like, wow, and you're like 7 or 8, 9 years old, just getting into weird, super weird movies like The Crow. It's really sad to me, though, that James O'Barr wrote the comic to deal with the death of his fiancée in a horrible tragedy, and only for this to go down the same path. I mean, years later, he did say that he regretted ever writing the comic. And the crazy thing about this is, you know, whenever an actor dies with during the making of a movie, it kind of just elevates the movie. And it's tragic in that way because it's the same thing that happened during The Dark Knight. You know, The Dark Knight's still a great movie, and I think this is a great movie too. This is the Miramax VHS, the best movie of its kind since the original Batman. The last sentence on the description on the back here is, also included the exclusive featurette of Brandon Lee's last on-camera interview, including never-before-seen footage conducted shortly before his untimely death! ! Like, it's exciting, you know? It's exciting that the motherfucker dead. We got the last interview, bitch. You gotta get this tape. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
You don't have to work real hard to figure out what you ought to do when it is 5 degrees outside.
That's great.